Now, moving a kind of a bit from that, we have the AFCON, which is ongoing. And we had an incident where an Algerian supporter or an Algerian fan basically said that prehistoric times were preferable to whatever the current reality is in Ivory Coast. Well, she was deported and banned from ever coming back to Ivory Coast.
Yes.
And, you know, with all fairness to North Africans, we had, when we published the story, we had one of them come and say, she does not represent us, she's actually living in France. But this is not an isolated kind of perspective. A lot of North Africans, in as much as we have North Africans who share Pan-African vision, Pan-African spirit, we also have a good number who see themselves as better than those black Africans. How do we achieve continental unity, Pan-Africanism, when this, is a stumbling block towards that?
In the early days, in the run-up to the independence, you had truly identifiable Pan-Africanists in that part of the world, in Hassan of Morocco, Ahmed Ben Bella of Algeria, Bibo Giba of Tunisia, Gamal Abdel Nasser in Egypt, and even Muammar al-Gaddafi a little later. But the attitude on the streets, or in the streets, depending on how you want to define it, is that there is something that the Arab North has, a kind of superiority complex, and you see it with the current president of Tunisia. And when it is convenient, they are Arabs. When it is convenient, they are Africans. And you remember at one time, Morocco actually applied to be a member of the European Union, and they withdrew from the African Union, or the OAU and African Union. Then they came back again. And when they came back, it was simply because of Sahrawi. They wanted the position of the African Union on Sahrawi to be maintained, and they love it that way. So these individuals who say what they say, they represent the dominant feeling in that part of the world. And we must never be deluded. If they don't want to be Africans, let them not be Africans. If they think they are simply in the continent called Africa, but they want to belong elsewhere, they must be told in no uncertain terms. And we never say this as often as we should. The Arabs were responsible for slavery in this part of the world. And in fact, the Arab slavery started earlier and continued for a longer time. And they took more Africans into their part of the world. And even as we speak now, we know what is happening in Libya. We know what is happening to African migrants when they get to Tunisia. We know what is happening to African migrants when they get to Algeria and when they get to Morocco. And the African Union should not equivocate on these matters. They should speak clearly and firmly so that we know who we are dealing with.